Yo, champs in the making, Starmeistr here. A few days ago, I went to Google search and typed the keywords hardest Pokemon champion, and the name that appeared right away was Cynthia. Literally almost everyone believes that Cynthia is the hardest champion to beat in any Pokemon game. So today, I present you my attempt on a hardcore Nuzlocke on Pokemon Platinum using only Cynthia's team. Combining her teams from the Sinnoh and Unova games, we have a total of 8 encounters that can be found in the Platinum decks. The complete rules for this Nuzlocke are found in the description below, but to summarize, I can only catch the first Cynthia-owned Pokemon that I encounter in each specific area. When a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead and must be permanently boxed. The Nuzlocke should be played on set mode. Bag items are not permitted during battles, but held items are allowed. No overleveling past the highest leveled Pokemon of the gym leader or Elite Four member, but overleveling during the battle is allowed. And of course, I should nickname every member of the team. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and if you do, consider giving this video a thumbs up, it helps out a lot. Also, before anything else, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more fun content. And follow me on Twitter where we talk about Nuzlockes and Anipoke. And since I wish not to prolong your agony, let's begin our Pokemon Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Cynthia's Pokemon. I chose Turtwig as a starter because the Chimchar line would give us the hardest time for the upcoming rival fights. And just as soon as we got our starter, my rival challenged me to a battle. I named him Tobias, by the way. We tackled them to death and went straight to Route 204 to catch our real starter, the baby Pokemon Badu, who I named Pistachio. She's got the decent, bold nature and the poison point ability. Pistachio would be a pain to grind as a Badu because it's super weak, so I had to spend some quality time with this baby as we ran across the busy roads of Jubilife City. This part was so boring that I literally watched one episode of Pokemon while alternately pressing the left and right buttons of my keyboard. And after wiping my tears while watching Jessie destroy Dustox's Pokeball, I realized that I still had a Nuzlocke to finish. Pistachio is now at max happiness, so after some grinding, she evolved into the majestic Roselia. Next, we took on Tobias, whose Pokemon both have a type advantage over Pistachio. But since he's dumb, we just win and finish the battle at full health. I'm not gonna show you my future rival fights with Tobias because they will just take up unnecessary time and nothing really special happened in any of them, so fast forward to Arborg City where we challenge our first gym. With Pistachio learning Mega Drain, we could easily win this battle with both eyes closed. I set up a growth to boost our special attack as they hit us with a weak rock throw. I set up a second growth as they went for another weak rock throw. Then we proceeded to kill the Geodude with Mega Drain and out came the Onix. We set up a third growth as Onix went for Screech. I know I'm not in danger for a crit here because Onix's attack sucks, so I set up another growth as they dropped us to -3 defense with another Screech. I got greedy and went for the +5 special attack with growth as they missed the rock throw. And I wanted Rourke to lose his battle in the most humiliating way possible, so I set up my final growth as they crit us with rock throw, leaving Pistachio with 4 HP. Not sure if a high roll would kill there, but who cares. And with that, we Mega Drain Oko, the Onix, and the Cranidos, earning us the Coal Badge. Next, we head on to Valley Windworks to catch the cutest slug in existence, a Shellos, who I named Rocky Road. And she has the Rash Nature, which is okay, and the Sticky Hold ability, which is also okay. And with 2 Pokemon in my arsenal, I took on everyone's favorite run killer. Mars's Zubat doesn't know any flying type attacks, so we're good with Pistachio. We used a Leech Seed to make sure we stay healthy as their bite did virtually nothing. We then proceeded to set up 5 growths and Oko the Zubat with a 4 times resisted Mega Drain. Finally came the Parugly who tried to fake us out. They went for Scratch, which crit, but a single Mega Drain won us the battle. Even if the fake out also crits, we still survived the next Scratch because Oranberry would have procced earlier, so we were safe all along. Anyways, we continue our journey to Eterna City where we take on the second gym. Gardenia led with Turtwig, so I sent in my own grass Pokemon. Our first Stun Spore missed, allowing them to set up a Reflect. The next Stun Spore hit as they used a useless Sunny Day. As cliche as it may look, we did our old trick of setting up 6 growths and killed the Turtwig and Cherim. Gardenia's final Pokemon was a Roserade, and like in the anime, whenever a Pokemon battles its evolved form, we can expect the pre-evolved form to win, and that's what happened. Gardenia awarded us the Forest Badge and it's time to take on the more difficult battle in Eterna City. Mars was easy, this Jupiter, she was horrendous. Literally every chip needed to fall in its place for this battle to end in a success, and luckily for me, they all did. I could see myself restarting this run as I faced Jupiter. She led with Zubat as I sent in Rocky Road. I immediately took it out with a couple of Water Pulse and finally came the Skuntank. They hit us with poison gas, and our mud bomb managed to crit. Next, they used smoke screen as we missed our mud bomb to compensate for the crit earlier. Night Slash thankfully didn't crit, allowing us to hit them with another mud bomb. I then switched to Pistachio, who absorbed the first Night Slash. Despite being in red health, Mega Drain still wasn't enough to finish the job, so we had to tank another Night Slash before the second Mega Drain clinched us the win. As I was making my way to the cycling shop to get my bike, this strange woman who happens to share the same name as I gave me a mysterious Pokemon egg. I walked a few steps around Eterna City and the egg eventually hatched into this adorable Togepi. I named him Eggnog, and he has a lax nature and the worst of the two abilities, being Hustle. And once again, I happiness grinded this Togepi while watching another Pokemon episode. This time, it's a Sinnoh Summer Camp. After watching the poor man's version of Flint vs. Volkner, my baby Eggnog evolved into Togetic. Next, we head on to Wayward Cave where we catch Cynthia's most infamous ace, this cute and innocent Gibble who I named Mint Chip. And she has the worst possible modest nature and the Sandvale ability. Fast forward to Hearthome City where Bebe randomly handed me an Eevee, thanks? I named her Bubblegum and she's got the runaway ability and the terrible brave nature. And now that I'm here in Hearthome City, I decided to explore its main attraction, the Amity Square. What do you mean? My Pokemon aren't cute enough? Anyways, while grinding for the gym battle, Mint Chip evolved into Gabite. With that, it's finally time to challenge Fantina. I led with Eggnog and immediately put Duskull to sleep. I switched in Pistachio who got burned by the Will-O-Wisp, but we have a Rustberry. I set up 2 growths before it woke up. Giga Drain OHKO'd the Duskull and out came the Haunter. Haunter managed to land a Confuse Ray before dying to Giga Drain. And finally came the Mismagius. We do survive a crit as long as Pistachio does not hurt herself with Confusion. And Psybeam did crit. Pistachio didn't hurt herself, but we missed a Leech Seed. So I had to switch in Eggnog to absorb the Shadow Ball. They confused us again, but we managed to land a Yawn. So I switched to Mint Chip, who tanked another Psybeam crit and killed the Mismagius after a bunch of Dragon Rage. There was nothing special that happened between Hearthome and Veilstone, so I guess we skip over to our battle against Maylene. I led with Mint Chip against a Meditite, and after absorbing a Fake Out, we immediately OHKO'd it with Earthquake. Next was Lucario. Drain Punch brought us to less than half health, and a super effective Earthquake easily took it out. Last was our Machoke. I switched to Pistachio, thinking that they're gonna use a fighting move, but they actually used Strength. Giga Drain brought it to probably above half health as they wasted the turn using Focus Energy. The second Giga Drain brought them to red and they attacked us with Rock Tomb, which didn't even crit. I wasn't sure if they were gonna outspeed or heal, so I safely switched to my newly evolved Rocky Road who easily tanked a crit Strength. And the final Water Pulse clinched us the victory. Next was Crasher Wake, and this battle was a little messy. I sent out Pistachio against the Gyarados to afflict them with Leech Seed as they used Bite. Next, we tried to use Growth, but another Bite brought us to just above half health and they got the Poison. We did a good chunk of damage with Giga Drain as Pistachio survived a crit bite, and Leech Seed plus the Poison was enough to take down the Gyarados. Next was Floatzel, who carries Ice Fang. So we switched to Rocky Road, who tanked an Ice Fang and a Crunch like a boss. We retaliated with Body Slam, which not only crit but also proc to Paralysis. And for some reason, I switched to Eggnog and then used a Yawn on a paralyzed Floatzel. How stupid can I get? Thankfully, Ice Fang didn't crit, so I pivoted to Rocky Road to absorb the Ice Fang and bait a Brine, then switched to Pistachio. I totally forgot that this thing has Aqua Jet, so I went for the attack. The last Pokemon was Quagsire, who just died to Giga Drain. And that's the 5th gym. Definitely not my best play, but I'll take it. Next, we had to visit Celastic Town because imposter Cynthia asked us to deliver the old charm to her grandma. And while examining this cave painting with this old lady, someone who goes by the name Cyrus suddenly challenges to battle. He was easy though. Rocky Road took care of the Sneasel, and Eggnog killed the Golbat and Murkrow with a bunch of ancient power. After that, Cynthia's grandma gave us the HM for Surf, so we now have access to Canalave City. The first thing we did was to sail to Iron Island. There, we met Riley, who helped us beat this pair of galactic grunts. After the battle, he gave me the Riolu egg as a token of gratitude. And upon exiting the cave, we picked up this shiny stone, allowing Eggnog to evolve into Togekiss. We flew back to Solacean Town because it's a perfect place to ride a bike. Eventually, Riolu hatched from the egg and I named him Neapolitan. He has a pretty good naive nature and the inner focus ability. And being another Pokemon that evolves through friendship, you guessed it, I continued my watch of the Sinnoh Summer Camp. Pokemon is usually a light-hearted show, but this episode where a creepy girl brings people to the spirit world was clearly not made for kids. And after all that, Riolu finally evolved into Lucario, who is gonna be the ace of my team. I EV trained Neapolitan to max speed and max special attack because I prefer his special move pool a bit more, plus I get access to choice specs in this game. Then, I challenged Byron. Neapolitan was holding a choice specs and just one-shot the Magneton, Steelix, and the Bastiodon without any setup. Byron seriously needs a Bronzong in his team or something. Next was a showdown against Saturn in Lake Valor. Eggnog and Minchip had no problems dealing with him. Okay, so the deal was that I take care of Lake Valor, Dawn handles Lake Verity, and Tobias defends Lake Acuity. But since Dawn is so weak, I had to take care of this mess. Anyways, I let Eggnog and Neapolitan deal with Mars. She was much easier this time around though. Now, Professor Rowan told me to go check on Tobias in Lake Acuity because he might be in trouble. I didn't really care about him, so I took my time and checked this icy rock in the snowy route. And while grinding in the area, Bubblegum evolved into the tanky Glaceon. But before I could check Lake Acuity, I needed to get my hands on the Icicle badge first. So I challenged this girl to a battle. What's her name again? I led with choice specs Neapolitan, who instantly OHKO'd the Sneasel. Next was the Piloswine, who also went down to a single flash cannon. Third was the Abomasnow, and I don't like the hail, so I pivoted to Rocky Road to absorb the Focus Blast, which by the way missed, then switched to Eggnog for the Wood Hammer. I locked him with Wood Hammer using Anchor and then set up a Sunny Day. Then I switched back to Neapolitan and OHKO'd the Abomasnow and the Frostlass with Flash Cannon. Now you see why Lucario is my ace. Now that we have access to Rock Climb, we took a detour and collected a bunch of items like TMs and also another Shiny Stone, which allowed my beloved starter Pistachio to finally evolve into Roserade. In Lake Acuity, we witnessed Jupiter trash talk Tobias, and she basically told us to go to the Galactic Headquarters in Veilstone City. So we went straight there and engaged in our second battle against Cyrus. Neapolitan killed his Sneasel and Honchkrow, and Bubblegum OHKO'd the Crobat. Next was Saturn, who was surprisingly harder than Cyrus, that he even managed to bring us to 4 HP, but he still lost, so yeah. In Spear Pillar, Tobias and I engaged in a tag battle against Mars and Jupiter, and we won the fight without any casualties on our side. I mean, Tobias' Munchlax even finished the battle at full health. After the battle, we were catered to this cutscene blah blah blah, and suddenly a shadowy figure kidnapped Cyrus. And as a true champion of Sinnoh, I went in the portal as Cynthia pretended that she's brave. But before moving on, I first grinded my team to level 48, causing Minchip to finally evolve into Garchomp. And also we stumbled upon this Golden Steelix. Since it's not a Pokemon owned by Cynthia, it doesn't deserve a place on my team. And now, we face the climax. Cynthia, who claims to be the champion of Sinnoh, was scared to battle Cyrus. For all we know, she lost. So I, the real champion of Sinnoh, took charge. Cynthia, take notes. This is how a champion battles. Cyrus led with Houndoom as he sent out Garchomp. Earthquake immediately OHKO'd the Houndoom, and next was the scary Weavile. I pivoted to Bubblegum for the Ice Punch, then switched to Neapolitan for the Night Slash. While I could have switched straight to Neapolitan, I didn't want to risk a freeze. Next, Weavile outsped, so we had to pray that Ice Punch wouldn't freeze, and it didn't, so Aura Sphere took it out. Third was the Gyarados. Anticipating for Earthquake, I switched to Eggnog, but they used Waterfall. They probably saw the kill with either Waterfall or Earthquake, so that was probably a 50-50. I know we survived a crit Ice Fang, so we went for Yawn. I switched to Bubblegum, used one Ice Beam, then switched back to Minchip, so Dragon Claw finished off the Gyarados. I'm not sure if the crit mattered, I don't think so. Gyarados has a terrible physical defense. Anyways, next was a Honchkrow and it died to 2 Dragon Claws. And finally was a Crobat. I stayed with Minchip as they hit us with Confuse Ray and we pulled through and hit them with Dragon Claw. Next, I didn't want to risk another confusion, so I switched to Bubblegum, who was a boss at tanking 2 Air Slashes and finished off the entirety of Team Galactic with a final Ice Beam. The last thing to do in the Distortion World is to battle Giratina. And I ran away. So we exited Distortion World and we visited Professor Rowan to let him know that I'm still alive. And with that, we complete the few remaining chapters of our journey by heading to Sunyshore City. I escalated the lighthouse to remind Volkner that he is a gym leader, then we battle him. You guys know what happened here. I have a Garchomp, so Jolteon dead, Luxray dead, Electivire dead, Raichu dead. Now that I have 8 badges, there's nothing left to do but to prove that I, Cynthia of Twinleaf Town, is the strongest trainer in Sinnoh. Lo and behold, my final team. Eggnog the Togekiss with a lax nature and a move pool of Yawn, Encore, Flamethrower, and Protect. Pistachio the Roserade with a bold nature and a move pool of Giga Drain, Growth, Leech Seed, and Toxic. Rocky Road the Gastrodon with a rash nature and a move pool of Surf, Toxic, Recover, and Protect. Bubblegum the Glaceon with a brave nature and a move pool of Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Ice Shard, and Protect. Neapolitan the Lucario with a naive nature and a move pool of Dark Pulse, Close Combat, Ice Punch, and Swords Dance. And finally, Minchip the Garchomp with a modest nature and a move pool of Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Crunch, and Brick Break. But before entering the Pokemon League, I first polished these babies to their maximum shininess. Take that, Pokemon League security guard, be blinded with my blinks. The next time you see me, I'm already the champion. Goodbye. So first was Aaron with his bug types. I sent out my choice specs Eggnog against Yanmega and Okoed it with Flamethrower. Drapion was next, so I pivoted to Bubblegum for the Ice Fang, then switched to Minchip as Cross Poison did nothing. So, a single Earthquake took down his ace. Third was the Heracross, so I switched back to Eggnog who tanked the close combat pretty nicely and then Okoed it with Flamethrower. Fourth was Vespiquen, who also died to Flamethrower, and last was Caesar, who couldn't beat the heat. Second was Bertha with her ground types. I led with Pistachio against a Whiscash, and Giga Drain instantly Okoed it. Next came Gliscor, so I wasn't sure if Gliscor was gonna use Earthquake, Ice Fang, or Fire Fang, so I pivoted to Bubblegum because she can tank any of those hits, and then ensure that the next move is gonna be Earthquake. So next I switched to Eggnog for the incoming Earthquake. They outsped us with Ice Fang, which flinched, and their next move was Thunder Fang, which got the Paralysis and the full Paralysis. I tried using Yawn, and thankfully we didn't paralyze. Then I switched to Bubblegum to again tank everything. Then I finally switched to my choice specs Rocky Road to start sweeping her team, so Gliscor dead, Hippowdon dead, Golem dead, and Rhyperior dead. Third was Flint with his fire types. And you know what happens when you have a ground type sweeper, right? Houndoom dead, Magmortar dead, Rapidash dead, Flareon dead, and Infernape dead. Fourth was Lucian with his psychic types. Neapolitan did quick work on the Mr. Mime before it could set up any screens. Second was the Gallade, so I switched to Minchip for the Drain Punch, and 2 Earthquakes were enough to kill the ace. Third was Alakazam, and this will probably use Psychic, so I pivoted to Rocky Road, which brought her to above half health. Now, we baited the Energy Ball and switched back to Neapolitan, so we barely outsped and Oko this Gen 1 monster. And fourth was Bronzong, which is a little tricky. Thinking that they're gonna use Earthquake, I switched to Eggnog, but they instead used Calm Mind. I wanted to Encore here, but I didn't want to risk them reaching +6 special attack and +6 special defense, so I immediately went with Yawn. I protected the next turn and they went for another Calm Mind. So on the first sleeping turn, I used Flamethrower, and on the next turn, I strangely used Encore, but it failed. So I whittled their HP down to red with another Flamethrower. Then Lucian healed, but they just kept on using Calm Mind, so 3 more Flamethrowers killed the Bronzong. Last was the Espeon. We put them to sleep with Yawn, then switched back to Neapolitan to finish them off with Dark Pulse. And with that, one battle stands between me and the title of Sinnoh Champion. So we challenge the reigning champion, the woman who pretends to be me. Now I love Cynthia and all, but her dialogue is cringe. As a Pokemon League champion, I accept your challenge. Anyways, this is how the battle went. Eggnog was holding a Light Clay, so I set up Light Screen on the first turn. Next, we yawned the Spiritomb as they did so little damage with Dark Pulse. Third, we used Encore to ensure that even if it wakes up, it still uses Dark Pulse. Now that the Spiritomb is asleep, I switched to my Cynthia killer, Neapolitan. Now if you're wondering why a specially invested Lucario is running a physical moveset, that's because of this very battle. So I proceeded to set up my first Swords Dance and they remained asleep. I went for another Swords Dance and they're still asleep. Then I used my third Swords Dance and Spiritomb never awoken from her deep slumber, so the next Ice Punch took it out. And with +6 attack and max speed EVs, Lucario dead, Garchomp dead, Togekiss dead, Milotic dead, and Roserade dead. What was it again? Hardest champion in the franchise? If a champion's team can be solely swept by gift Pokemon, can you really call that as difficult? To Cynthia's credit, I did use her team against her, so there's that. And with that, I, Cynthia of Twinleaf Town, was crowned as a new champion of the Sinnoh region. Overall, this challenge wasn't that difficult to say the least. I'm using an OP team after all. Garchomp is obviously broken, especially in the late game, and Lucario just sweeps everything as soon as you get it. Togekiss with Yawn and Encore makes your opponents inutile. Oh, and Roserade with Growth and Leech Seed makes the game so much easier. Gastrodon tanks hit so well, and it surprises me with how strong it can be offensively. And of course Glaceon, who I EV trained by the way, is a boss at tanking super effective and stab moves. And the fact that half of my team is weak to ice, Glaceon was a perfect Pokemon to absorb those hits. That's it for my video on Pokemon Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Cynthia's team. Comment down below which Nuzlocke run you'd want me to do next. If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more fun content. Also follow me on Twitter, @Starmeistr. With everything said and done, enjoy your time hammering away Pokemon champions and become the most powerful trainer in the world. Thanks for watching, and gotta catch ya later.